So we've got two white wines for you in this shipment, and they couldn't be more different from each other. We had the Chocolina, which was super lean and crisp and bright. And for this wine, we're doing white Burgundy, which is going to be a little bit more rich. Now, for those of you following along with the podcast, which I hope you are, this is going to go with our episode with Chef Emma from two Michelin-starred restaurant in New York City, Aquavit, which of course focuses on cuisine that is a little bit more light, very seafood heavy, and seasonal. This white Burgundy is one of my favorites. It's a producer that you don't see a ton of, but when I can get my hands on it, I'm always a fan because it's, to me, the epitome of white Burgundy, but it's not super overwhelming. You'll see what I mean in a second. So go ahead and grab that Burgundy glass. That's going to be the wider base with the slightly tapered rim because this is Chardonnay. White Burgundy coming from Domaine Cordier Père et Fille. And this is the Jean de la Vigne cuvee. And while this just says Bourgogne Blanc, which is a general appellated wine, this is actually coming from a single vineyard in Puisay. This is a 2020 vintage, and already you can see there's some really great golden hues on this wine. If you want to take a little example from that chocolate I just had, I mean, these couldn't be more different, right? You've got this kind of straw colored in the chocolate, and then this really lovely golden color for our white Burgundy. Already, I love what this wine is doing. You're going to want to serve it with a chill, but not too much because unlike the chocolate, this is actually going to want to bring out some of those richer flavors and richer textures. So don't serve this ice cold. You want to get this in your fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes. If it's not in your cellar already, get it down to like a nice 50 to 55. Don't cool it all the way down to 40. Optimal temperature for this wine is going to allow some of that richness to really come through. One of the really fun things about this wine is that this is actually featured at the restaurant Aquavit, and it's paired with the scallops dish, which already I'm smelling, and it couldn't be more perfect with scallops. I wish I honestly had them right now. On the nose, this is classic Chardonnay. This is your golden delicious apple because this is coming from a slightly warmer part of Burgundy in the Macon. So some of that fruit gets a little bit more pronounced than you might be used to in places like Chablis. So if you're someone that traditionally loves a warmer climate Chardonnay like that of California, a great transition wine without leaving so much of that ripeness. But if you're also a Burgundy lover, this is not a total departure either. Really nice golden delicious apple, as I said, and then you have a little bit of richness coming from these oak barrels, which are large and not imparting a ton of spices like your vanilla and your cardamom and your clove, but just enough to give it a little bit of texture and support. Rich, but still really lean. And that's really what we're looking for with the white Burgundy when we're talking about pairing with seasonal things, especially all of your spring things that are coming up. So if you've got scallops and you're pairing it with ramps or green asparagus, any of those great vegetables that are starting to come into season, which can be generally a little bit hard to pair. This is a great wine because I think you're getting a lot of texture, but you're still getting a lot of freshness as well. I also would not be mad at this to go with your cooked fishes, your white fishes. Salmon would be delicious as well. And what I really want you to notice is just how rich this is without being overwhelming. It's still sort of giving you that really nice soft texture on the palate, but there's still great acidity. You can feel it kind of coming down your jaw there. It's lifted, it's bright, and acidity really is the name of the game when you're talking about food and wine pairing. You always want your acids to be as high or higher than the foods that you're pairing it with. So when we're talking about pairing foods with wine, usually a higher acid wine is always going to work. In the case of this wine, we want a little bit more texture because we're trying to go with something that has natural richness like a scallop dish. But even when you have lobster, shrimp, anything that has like a sweetness but also a richness, this is a really great way to go. I think it's also worth noting, since we've talked about it in other episodes, that this Chardonnay was actually aged on the lees, so it brings out a little bit of this like nutty brioche character that's going on, something that you would see typically in that of Champagne. So if you're getting a little bit of nuttiness, if you're getting some of that brioche, that's where that's coming from, because this wine sat on those dead yeast cells for just a little bit, as well as the fact that it's supported by that new French oak though it's in small amounts, it's there, it's supporting, it's not a primary focus. You're not being overwhelmed and smacked over the head with oak. It's just there to give it a little bit of like sparkle at the end. I think this is absolutely delicious. I hope that you love it. This is a crowd pleaser, something that I would be happy to serve at dinner parties, and one that I'm definitely going to stock up on for future.